I am super excited, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I have Lauren Petrullo here with me today. So please help me welcome Lauren Petrullo. Lauren, how are you today?
Oh, I'm so good. How are you doing?
What can you say to the people that are feeling trapped or stuck and just need a jolt off of their standard baseline right now?
I'm really lucky. I have someone else that will define it for me. If I'm in a stuck, like I can't make definitions, I can't even decide what is the decision. I'll ask someone else and
Mm.
then I'll react to it. And if that feels good, great, I'll stick with it and I'll give it as my goal. And then if it feels overly ambitious, like shoot for the moon and you still land in the stars, but it's still, you know, where the end game is and you can run towards it. And there's this really great quote from C.S. Lewis that I like where it's, you can't rewrite the beginning, but you can change what you're doing now to create a different ending. So I like asking someone else to define it for me. If I'm like, okay, I need a jolt, I don't know what to do. Hey, I need to take this seriously. I'm trying to think of a number of pieces of clothing. What do you think is a reasonable number that I can have in my closet? Just give me a number, you decide for me, and then I can react from it because it's easier for me than having to create and think of like, oh, it's too much.
Speaking of the 100 items of clothing, because I love that. I think that's a fantastic number. I know that growing up, because I'm from a large family and there were 7 girls in our family, at
Mm,
some point we were all kind of about the same size or the same height or the same weight. And
mhm.
so as we moved out on our own, we did a clothing swap. So while I might only have 100 items of clothing at any given time, I would get a text message that says clothing swap. What
Yeah.
that meant is grab all the clothing that you're not wearing, throw it in a box and ship it to the next person on the list. And then they get a whole bunch of new clothes, well, recycled hand-me-downs. But we're not then spending the money and we're not buying the new clothes, but it was a chance to kind of like naturally purge all the stuff. And so along with that, it was just one of the sisters started throwing in jewelry and socks and things like that were just kind of extra, or shoes. And then
Mhm.
every time we'd have a family reunion, we would all take the extra stuff that we're not using, and then we'd put everything out on a table. Oh, those are awesome shoes. I'd like to take those for a
Yeah.
while. And we would like buy from each other's warehouses of surplus. And it was kind of a fun way to get rid of some of our stuff without spending any money and without feeling like, oh, I'm never going to see it again, because who knows, it might show up on the next clothing swap and you take it back.
I've actually did this. So when I was in LA, I would do this quite often with my girlfriends. We would do it and we'd say, take everything you haven't worn in 6 months, something you love, not something that like, this isn't donate your crushed peas and canned corn to the homeless shelter kind of thing. It's like, take the stuff that you like because we're going to put it out and re-gift it to someone else. But a friend of mine spent $300 on a swimsuit that she wore once. Other people had clothes that still had tags on it and they carried all this guilt of I can't get rid of it because I've emotionally or financially invested in this. But we set it up and we'd even do it on Meetup and we'd set up all these tables like we had at a warehouse and everything was fair game. And if you had some stuff, if you had a lot of stuff, it's just what haven't you worn or used that it's a valuable thing you want someone else to use because what you would want to pick up from someone else. And so then it was all out and you socialize, you'd go through it, you'd choose it. But I love clothing swaps. You don't have to do it just to your friends or mail it. If you're able to organize something with your friends, and it's okay if people have different sizes, that actually is why we saw purses and shoes and other like some people even brought like picture frames. They're like, this was gifted to me from my in-laws. We broke up. They're very valuable picture frames. I don't want to I want them to go to someone who's going to appreciate them. But yeah, so we set up these like clothing swap, like friend group meetups. And it was like a chance to meet other people and see what their style is. And then we'd have one person that would take anything left over that people didn't take back home to a donation center. But I love that you did the clothing swap with your sisters. I encourage you to do it with your friends and to have their friends bring their friends.
I love what you did with the swap, because that's really a great way to get rid of valuable but not used for you items. I
Mhm.
know that last Christmas we did something, and this was inspired by the Clutter Corner concept, where all of our team members are involved somehow in the back end of the Clutter Corner with the production of the shows or whatever. But for Christmas last year, we now have a team of 28 part-time people, and then their spouses came over for a great big holiday party. So we
Mhm.
did a white elephant, and the rule was you got to bring good stuff from your house that you don't want, you don't use, and you could live without. But
Mhm.
wrap it up and make it look really fancy. We're going to do a white elephant swap, and you can
Mhm.
bring more than one item. So we had lots of people bring in lots of things. So like the trees were full of gifts, and we're like, this is awesome. And then we ran the cycles where people would open up a gift and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want this at all. And someone else would go, I do. And then they can either swap or keep the gift.
Mm.
And it was really a lot of fun because there were gifts that kept getting passed from person to person. Well, obviously, no one wants this. And then there were things that people were fighting for, like, I want that. That's really important to me.
Mhm.
And it was really weird the things that people ended up with because some of them became really useful things for those families and
Yeah.
other things we were just like happy to get rid of. Right. And so to follow that up through the rest of the year, we have got Monday morning meetings at our office. And so every Monday morning, we have what's called Lousy Prize Monday. And somebody brings something from home that's a lousy prize for them. It's something they're never
Ugh.
going to use or want. And then on a scale, you pick a number, 1 to 500, and then everybody in the room tries to guess the number, and the person that's closest gets the lousy prize. And so it's been a fun way of us recycling and getting rid of stuff in our lives. Again, we are useful, but we don't want them and we're not going to use them. And we would like to have some fun along the way. But if it's broken that it's mine and I have to hoard it and I have to hang on to it and I can't get rid of it and it's got emotional value and sentimental value and I can't let it go. It's created that letting stuff flow through our lives concept.
Yeah. And just think about like if you're an object and people are fighting over, great. I feel so relieved that it's getting the attention and love that it deserves because I'm not going to do it.
That's awesome. All right, you guys, I'm going to encourage the concept. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks again. Have a great week.